And thank you so much for tuning in. You're listening to C Major Before the Show. Happy Saturday. It's so nice to be here. It's really warm here in the greater New York City area. I can hardly believe it. So, hope your Saturday's going great. And thank you again for tuning in. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about music making today. And so I'm just really excited to be here. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of playing today. We won't keep you long, not because you have other things to do. It's just that this is going to be a shorter show than we've done in the past few weeks, I think. Oh, actually, we've been keeping the shows a little bit on the short side. Were you able to join me last night? Applaud if you were able to join me last night. Well, if you joined me last night, you know that I did a little bit of rehearsing, but not much. I was kind of caught off guard a little bit because I really wanted to see if I could mix in some of the classical pieces that I talked about the previous week. But it just wasn't feeling it. So I just said, you know what? Let me just do a little bit and then just stop. So I don't know if I will be rehearsing live next Friday. We'll see. I'm going to be in touch with the promoter and to see if we will be even performing, to be honest. I have been doing everything possible to get the word out about this show, but it just seems like the tickets are not moving. And that's just me being honest. So I think C Major needs to work a little bit harder to really build an audience for herself. I think that's going to be a focus for 2020, is to really start working harder and smarter at building an audience and not just relying on a built-in audience. That's work. Some people that I've talked with in the past, fellow musicians, really think that they should just show up and be able to play and the audience is already built in. But I can see the benefits of trying to build it from scratch. And so I'm going to be looking at ways to do that. So I hope I will have your support for doing something like that. And I think it'll be fun. Thank you so much. So in the name of fun, we are going to take a look at this piece that I've had on my mind since last week. And it's a piece that I was working on with one of my students who needed to play the piece for an upcoming exam. And so I just ask you to not listen to the performance of the piece, because I'm not performing it. I'm really trying to demonstrate just a part in the piece that I think is what the editor describes as humorous and what I initially reacted to as being humorous. So I hope you have the same idea. So we're going to go right away to that area where we keep the piano. And then we're going to come back. I'm going to leave this music running, actually. And so when we step back into this room, you know that we will be coming back into the area where we have our recorded music. And then I'll say something further, because if you're planning to join me over at the C Major radio show, just know that once we get over there, we will talk with you about how to write down this music, which I love that part of it. So, okay, so walk with me as I go to the piano room and let's see what we can do here. Get some sound happening. go. Okay, so, I thought I would do a poll today also, but then I thought, I'm not going to post a poll. Maybe I'll post a poll later in the future. But if you saw over at CMajor's classroom, which is CMajorPorter.com, and you saw that we had posted some things for you to listen to, then if you had a chance to listen to it, then you should recognize this part in the song that I'm about to play. So I'm going to play it with my right hand first. Okay. Hopefully you can hear that. There we go. Okay, so. Okay, so again, do not judge me on the performance, please. But if that sounds humorous to you, applaud if you think that sounds humorous. Okay, so you may or may not agree, okay? But we're going to talk about what that is that you're hearing. So if it sounds humorous, if it sounds fun, if it even sounds funny, then let me know. So again, in the left hand you have, okay, and then the right hand. Okay, so it almost sounds like a question and an answer, but it definitely sounds like it goes together. Okay, so what would I say would not be funny, just so you have something to contrast it against? Let's see if I can find something in the right hand that's also followed by the left hand. I really haven't analyzed this piece yet, so just bear with me a moment. Let's see. Okay. Lots of. Let's see. I mean, it's still kind of ultimately just a real lighthearted piece. I was looking at some of these chords. Let's play these. Okay. So I would say the part where you have some of these thicker textures, I would not describe them as funny. I would say, it's Beethoven creating a certain amount of stress in the piece, if I can use that, if you will. Definitely thicker textures and maybe some tension before he releases it. And then I have to look and see also the performance directions for the trill. Okay. Anyway, that was from the first movement from Sonata in G, Opus 79 by Beethoven. And we were looking at the presto, the movement that starts off as presto alla tedesca. I believe that's how you say that. And so we will talk a little bit more in detail over at the CMajor Radio Show. If you care to join us for that discussion, feel free to come over there. And I look forward to seeing you over there. Now, there's one more piece that I wanted to just kind of play through just a little bit. Just the part where I thought it might have been humorous, and then again, we'll take a look and see why that could be. Even though it's in isolation. Let's see. I think everything about this whole piece was humorous to me. The ridiculously piece by Prokofiev. And so we posted that as well. I enjoyed everything about this piece and teaching it and all of that. But I think when you're playing the flurries, so the part where if you hear it, it's coming down. Okay, and you're supposed to play a fountain. It sounds very dreamy if you're playing it just one note at a time with the pedal. That sounds humorous to me. And you have it at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Just that. And we'll say what those notes are. Okay. And again, it's in isolation. So don't think of it as a performance. It's me trying to find out what's fun or what's funny. Okay. So more than humor, I would say, as in, haha, I laughed when I heard this part. It just felt fun. It felt like, oh, I really wanted to do that. So the left hand is doing that. So okay. And then over on the next page you have the same thing. Go into some other areas of it. But that part in particular just felt fun to me. It felt really fun. And so my student really had fun as well once we figured out the positioning of the fingers. So we had to use a subtle roll of the wrist to really carry it off. And the trick was to really avoid any tension in the playing. So we were able to use slow practice, correctly positioned fingers, subtle roll of the wrist to make those things happen. So, okay. All right. Thank you for sticking with us. And enjoy listening to the piece. It's Ridiculosamente, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Number 10 from Visions Fugitives, Opus 22. If you have a chance to listen to the music of Prokofiev, I think you will be very delighted, especially with these two pieces. Okay, so now we're going to go back downstairs. I'm going to say a few more things about finding humor and wit in music and go over the composer's notes, well, the editor's notes, rather. And I look forward to hearing what you're finding as you're out and about with your music making and going to various venues, going to various concerts, concert halls, and so forth. And I thought about bringing this over to the CMajor radio show by playing it, but I thought, you know what? I should play it here. So here we are. So now we're changing our location again. So you're going to hear a little bit of movement. Okay, and you are listening to CMajor Before the Show. I'm your host, CMajor Porter. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a great pleasure to be with you on this Saturday. And we're back in our other area. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, because I won't do this, well, I'm not planning to do this rather over at the CMajor radio show. So we'll work backwards. Okay, so the part where I said there was humor in the piece, just a little bit more about the background of the composer. Prokofiev composed music and played the piano from an early age, first taught by his mother, herself a pianist. He was writing his earliest piano pieces by the age of 5, if you can believe that. Visions Fugitives, which means fleeting visions, dates from his early Russian period. It contained 20 pieces that originated in the period 1915 to 17. It was published in 1922. The piece selected here is aptly characterized by his expression mark ridiculously. It well illustrates a recurring side of Prokofiev's musical personality, a sense of humor that constantly borders on the absurd, ludicrous, and grotesque. At the time when it was written, the young composer was widely regarded as potentially dangerous, and he cultivated this image in avant-garde, anti-romantic, and for its time, ultra-modern music, of which this piece is an excellent example. So this is the editor that is discussing this piece. So if you have a chance to listen to it in full, it's very quick, and it's to me, it's nice to listen to it as well as to play it. So, how are your music making plans going for the new year? Hopefully well. Hopefully everything's going well. All's well. And now let's step over into the Beethoven piece. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to do some shout outs. And then I'm going to say a little bit more about this show that I really hope that I'll be able to do for you on January 24th in the city. I was so excited to do this show. And then, lo and behold, working with the promoter, who's been fantastic, by the way, and doing all the planning. And it just seems like it's just not coming together with the tickets. But I know there's still time to make this happen. So there may or may not be a show at this point. I really hope that we can make this happen. Okay. Beethoven's piano sonatas in F sharp and G, Opus 78 and Opus 79, were commissioned by Clementi on his visit to Vienna in 1807 and composed in 1809. Both are relatively short and undemanding, perhaps at Clementi's request. Very interesting. The first movement of the G major sonata selected here is a brilliant and witty piece. I think I mentioned this last week. That was by Sir Toby. And we read his books in college. And the style of a German dance for couples in quick triple time, hence the title Presto alla Tedesca. But that part where, I played from the sonata is where I found the wit and the humor to come to life. Now I'm just going to see if there was anything mentioned in the teacher's notes. Yep, here we go. So it says the title, again, Presto alla Tedesca, anticipates the alla danza tedesca fourth movement of the string quartet, Opus 130, the opening motif of which is an exact inversion of this opening. So that's great. Even that's fun. It's like when you are a composer and then you use your own music to write it in a different way. That's fun. And then the character of a fast dance and waltz time pervades the movement, while Beethoven's wit shines right through to the throwaway ending. And that's where it is. It's toward the end. So, okay. So applause for that. And the reason for the applause, I just get really excited when I hear music that's fun and funny to me, and then I can share that with you and see if you find the same sense of humor. And so you're just encouraged to listen to as much piano music as you can find this year that makes you smile, music that makes you laugh, music that gives you an upbeat feeling. And so the irony of that is that the music of C major is heartbreak and wonder. But even with that, you won't find much humor in the music that I've made up. But there's still some hope in the music that I've presented. So I would say look outside of the music of C major for that humor and wit that I'm talking about. But it just feels like it's the right time to try to find something enjoyable as you are out and about making music or listening to music at your leisure. And so I'll be interested to know what you find. Now, I have some shout outs. Give me just one moment. I'm going to take a sip of water and then I'll be right back. You're listening to C Major Before the Show. Okay, I'm back. I promised I would just step away and get a sip of water, and that's exactly what I did. So now I'm back. So it just made me think also this week. I was talking with a friend. I said, the musicians that I'm around, we're always laughing and talking. I just don't feel like they stress out about a whole lot of things. I mean, they do, like when you would normally react to something that's stressful. But for the most part, musicians I know, they all have a sense of humor, and they're always trying to find something fun and funny to sing. So, shout out to my students who are hilarious, a lot of them. And I'm just so encouraged. I have some students that are really growing in their music making. Now, sometimes it's hard for the parents to see that, but I see it. I can see it every time I hear that they are more focused with their playing, and I hear it when they say to me, that was fun, or I hear it in their laughter, or I hear it when I can see that their sight reading is improving, and I hear it when they make up their own songs. I hear it when they're asking ahead of time how to start preparing for recital. And so I had some very specific students in mind, but you know what? This week I'm just going to give a big shout out and a big cheer for all of the students for the new year. May you have a huge year in terms of music making. Make the best music you can make, but also make the most music that you can make. And so applause and cheers to all of C major students. Thank you so much. And this show is for 21 and older. The show that I'm doing on January 24th in the city at the West End. And so none of my students can come to that except for the ones that are in college or the ones that are adults. So sorry to my young students, but I am willing to share with you the idea of writing your own songs. I can't wait to hear what you're going to write. I have a couple of students that are stepping into that challenge. And then a couple of students who say, you know what, I just want to play classical pieces, or I only want to play what I can see, what's in front of me, and what's familiar. So, now, before I let you go, see, it was a quick show today. I want to just take you over again to my show page. And big shout out to the promoters. If you guys have seen all the work that Afton Music shows, after they do, just what they do, Afton Music shows, just the work, the hard work that they do before and after the shows that they present. And they're very busy. They're based in New York, they're based in other places, but they really do work with the artists to get them to be the best that they can be in New York. It's a different game. It's a different ball game. And somebody once said, in New York, it's all about whether or not you can bring it. So let's see if I can go to my page real quickly. Now there's still time. I have physical tickets that were sent to me. I also have the option for you to go online and purchase these tickets. And then I'm just looking at some of these shows that are being presented. They have a very nice mix of shows that are coming up. Okay, so let me go to aftonshows.com and go to my page. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, this is where I need your help. So my page says CMajor. So if you go to aftonshows.com/CMajorPorter, it'll take you right to my page and you'll see CMajor tickets, the West End, New York, January 24th, 2020, Afton Shows. You'll see you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. I'm going to click on that right now and just make sure it's taking you to the right place. So if I click on my Facebook, it goes straight to CMajor Porter. Now, that's my personal page. And if you want to be a part of my personal page, you can be a part of my personal page. But you will have to ask me because it's a private page. Now, I do have a public page that's called CMajor Before the Show. And so I see some people trying to get my attention. They are liking my Facebook memories that I'm posting, which is so funny, and liking my links. So I love Facebook. Facebook is so great. And so it all depends on, I like what Afton shows with the podcast. I like what you guys said. Made me laugh. I like what you said about Facebook and that how you have to follow what the algorithm is bringing to Facebook itself. It really is based on interaction. Okay, so now if I click on Twitter, it takes you to my Twitter page. So I had a pinned tweet. Today's fun music exercise now posted. That's the one with the cat. And then right now, if you're looking on my Twitter, you can see we're doing a live podcast, Finding Wit, Piano Pieces with Some Humor, on Spreaker, or at Spreaker if you're on Twitter. CMajor Before the Show, CMajor's Classroom, Humor, Piano Pieces, #wit. Finding Wit, Piano Pieces with Some Humor. Join CMajor in the search for humor found in piano pieces. Wit can take place in many forms. It'll be fun. Come along now and see if you'll agree. See you all soon. Thank you for listening. Okay, then below that, try to have an amazing Saturday, everyone. That's my Saturday thoughts. And then after that, you see where I did do a live rehearsal, but it wasn't very long. Okay. All right. So feel free to check out my Twitter page. You can see a photo of me performing in New York. And then if I click on my YouTube, now that's going to be interesting because recently I clicked on my YouTube. I was a little surprised about what I was finding.
It's recorded.
Okay. So this is interesting.
Good evening, everyone.
How's everybody doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for coming out and braving the elements. I am CMajor. It's my first time here at Parkside Lounge, so it's nice to be here. Special thanks to Turnstile Music Group and also my guests for the evening. Also I'd like to give a round of applause for Shino. Sounding good. It's nice to hear you all. I heard lots of good things about you. So for tonight, what I'm going to do is play songs from my newly released CD that's now available at Guitar Center, exclusively at Guitar Center in Paramus, New Jersey. So feel free to stop by Route 4 and pick it up. And I'll say a little bit more about that later. But it's nice to see some old faces here. Alexandra, my brother, Lavelle, Dr. Lavelle Porter in the house tonight. Give him a round of applause. He just received his PhD. I'm really proud of him. And Janine and Shahida. Nice to see you guys from Columbia University. Thank you for being here. And Steve Pittman, thank you. One of my favorite Guitar Center customers who buys everything for me. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with some music. This is my cheat sheet. It's actually from my CD, but I hope to get through 9 songs that I've written. I write music just for piano, no vocals. It's all piano, pop instrumental. And the songs are personal. It's based on personal dramas. I have a theme. It's heartbreak and wonder. And I try not to make it too depressing for people to hear. In fact, I try to turn the music around with a positive sound. And tonight I will be sharing a little bit more about the stories behind the music. I recently did a follow-up interview with Jeff Fox, and he asked me to tell more about the stories. So I'm starting to do that now and incorporate that in the shows. But the first song that you will hear is called Faint Memory. Let me go ahead and get started with that, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the history of the song. This is Faint Memory. So that was a little bit of my YouTube page. I didn't really mean to go that far into it, but I was just remembering how it felt to be there that night. So if you have a chance, check out that page on YouTube. And now I'm going to go to my SoundCloud and see what's happening there. Okay, so there I have my user number. Same thing. You know, it's giving you a couple of my tracks, Gut Feeling, Faint Memory, and feel free to check those out on SoundCloud as well. Okay. It's just nice to visit my social media every once in a while. This is going to be a great show. Bring out your friends to see CMajor play and help co-promote her music. Let me read that again. This is going to be a great show. Thank you. Bring out your friends to see CMajor play and help co-promote her music. Good news. CMajor is now broadcasting live on the CMajor radio show. Sign up today to be a guest on the show. So if you want to be a guest on the CMajor radio show, see me after the show. I'll be happy to talk with you about that. Number of tickets. And so get tickets now. I really need you guys to log on right now, right this minute, to get 6 tickets each and show the promoter that we can do this. We have people coming to the show. And so you'll see what happens after that. If you need any assistance with that, let me know. It's set for Friday, January 24th, the West End 955 West End Avenue, New York, New York. The zip code is 10025. The show starts at 9 p.m. 21 and older, please, only. This is going to be a great show. Bring out your friends to see CMajor play and help co-promote her music. Good news. CMajor is now broadcasting live on the CMajor radio show. Sign up today to be a guest on the show. And thank you so much. And then you can see my tweets there. Okay. So if you need help with getting a ticket, let me know. Reach out to me on social media. I really hope to see you guys at the show. What's coming up next week on CMajor Before the Show? Let's take a look here. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the fun vibe going. I mentioned something about running music. I know a lot of you don't know what that is, but some of you may know, or you may have an idea what that is. I'm thinking I'm going to present that next week. Breaking down the keys, breaking down the chords, breaking down the movement. And so that'll be on next week's show. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week for that. Is there any homework? Is there any fun music exercise for you to do this week? I'm thinking about that. Let me go ahead and play that sound. That's our dramatic sound of Did You Do Your Homework, which is now a fun music exercise. And so I was looking at some books today. I'm thinking I might just pull some exercises from those books, that you find in a music store. Sometimes you're not really sure which ones to purchase. If you have any questions like that, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to guide you on that. And of course, I'm not going to charge you to answer your questions. It's just giving advice. But we'll see what happens for next week. Also, listen out to see if I'm going to be rehearsing this coming Friday. Because what I was aiming to do was just rehearse the Fridays leading up to the show, just so that you would get a sense of what to expect at the show. Will I still be using cowbell? Not sure. I think I'm going to bring it, and then we'll see what happens. If it feels right, if the energy feels right in the room, then I'll just break it out and then have someone see what they can do with cowbell. Also, I was thinking about presenting for the first time a song that I was commissioned to write, and they didn't pay me for it. They just basically asked me to write a song, and the way they did it was by saying, "Oh, we really wished you would play something upbeat first before you launch into your regular CMajor songs," which I took with serious intention, really, to write a song for them. And so I have. I'm a little bit shy about sharing it because I want it to be the right vibe. So we'll see if I start off the show, again, if I get to do the show on January 24th. But I'm going to leave that up to you. You guys are the ones that will decide whether or not I get to do this show. So I've been texting you. I've been touching base with you on social media. I've been listing it on Facebook. I've listed it on Twitter. I've been talking it up, word of mouth. I don't know what else to do, but I'm going to let you be the deciding factor. Do you want to see CMajor perform a show on January 24th? Hopefully you do. Thank you so much for tuning in to CMajor Before the Show. It's been fun being with you guys. I've had a great time. Thank you. And so now join me over at the CMajor radio show. Why? Because we're going to talk about those things that you heard me play on this show today. There's a term for that. And also, I'm going to jump in a little bit to our music theory book to tell you what it is that I played. And then I'm going to tell you how to write it out. Write it out by text. Okay, so I'll see you guys a little bit later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful Saturday evening and take care.